live, but hey, whatever.
Awesome, cool. Hi, I am Madame Medusa.
I am Lieutenant Hedgie.
And we come from some very different backgrounds.
Some very, very, very different backgrounds.
Mine being sideshow and cabaret.
Mine being ex-military, gamer, and film crew person.
And I last PC gamed with King's Quest and Colonel's Bequest, as well as I think I'm what's called an amateur button masher.
Well, I guess we're going to have to change that, ain't we?
I guess so.
So, basically what the show is about, and sorry to say, okay, you know what, fuck this. Fuck it! Ah! Here, out of the way. It is too warm in this.
Fuck it!
Way too warm. So yeah, Lieutenant Hedgie and Madame Medusa's Den of Debauchery. So it is, as the name says, it is full of den and debauchery, and while in gaming circles, I am known as Lieutenant Dessler. For the purposes of this show, once I get myself out of this, because my god.
Don't laugh. Have some respect for the military.
No, laugh at the military. Are you kidding me? We're so full of it. Sorry, Thomas. Yeah, basically the show is going to incorporate a whole bunch of fun epicness. As you can tell, Madame Medusa here has a lovely little lizard friend here.
So this is Zilla. He is a bearded dragon, and he is incredibly full of beans right now. Let's have a look at everybody, Zilla. Let's have a little... And we're getting a little flying Zilla to the camera. Oh, what is it, Zilla? Yeah, who's a famous lizard now? He's been on Samantha Mac's breasts before, so he's very well known lizard.
Yeah, so depending on how we set up the episode for the day, depending on what we're doing, because we're going to go through cycles of games, we're going to go through cycles of creativity, where we'll be doing drawings, where we will do artwork, make cosplay. I've got a couple of pieces that I need of my stuff that I have to fix.
And I am going to make a dragon puppet by the end of this year, whether it kills me or not. And I hope that it doesn't kill me. I would much rather have a dragon puppet.
Yes, please don't kill yourself.
Well, not on camera, not unless people are paying for that. I can only do that trick once.
Yeah, you'd have to be paying up a lot of money for that. Even then, I'm not.
That's like Eli Roth Hostel type money.
Oh God. So, speaking of movies, we both work in the film industry. I work as a props person as well as a background performer currently, and
I work as a reptile handler, an actor, and sometimes a director if nobody's looking too hard.
Well, you just did your recent short that hit up the festival circles, didn't you?
It's actually starting the festival circles. It's called Reptile House, and it stars Shirai Rules and Jesse Inakala, so I'm pretty excited about that. You don't get to see Zilla on camera in that, but I can promise you there are no fake snakes. Every snake that you see in that is real. Every lizard that you see in that is real. So, yeah, if you have a fear of snakes, I guess it's already kind of a horror movie, but, it's a horror for other reasons.
Oh god, don't even bring up fears. I recently took I think it was a survey or something about what are my fears. I put down spiders and clowns, and that's for good reason.
Spider clown!
No, how about no? I made the mistake of watching it on set during filming Supergirl. That was a mistake.
So, how much did you shriek on set? Did you get in trouble?
Yeah, I'm not going to answer that question. I am not going to answer that question.
So, spider clowns scare her, but...
Just clowns in general. I actually yelped pretty good during the scene with the where they're sitting in the garage.
Have you seen Killer Clowns from Outer Space? Because I feel like
No.
that would probably end your fear, because you will never be afraid of clowns after watching that. They are neither scary nor funny, but kind of charming in their own B-horror sort of way.
Well, that's the majority of
everything I do?
Well, I wouldn't say it's all B-rated movies, but, But I thought your Reptile House had already started making its rounds last year.
It had one screening at the Rio Grind Fest, and then it was like kind of put on the back burner until 2020, and it's going to be playing at Darkfest in Kamloops, the Kamloops Film Festival in March, on Friday the 13th, which should be pretty darn cool.
He is so active right now.
He
is like, put me down on the ground. I want to run, Mom.
He's like, I really need to talk to you about podcasting and vlogging and stuff. And oh my goodness, you've got fluff on you.
And Zilla would not be the only reptile that will be coming into shows. So, they won't be a regular thing, but they will be regular enough that
you'll want to tune in to see if maybe we have a special guest. Usually a large snake. Most likely it'll be a large snake, a snake of some kind, and maybe
how many snakes you have,
and maybe other. There's always room for other. Like Zilla. Zilla is probably got the most beans in him that he's had in a really long time, and I don't know if the idea of like Twitch streaming fandom has heavily gone to his little noggin, and he's like just dreaming of what he's gonna do with all that sweet tip money, but. Yeah.
I think he's just happy because the room is warm.
It is really,
quite honestly.
really warm. And he also is a free-roaming dragon at home, so we have like the fake wooden floors to protect against scratches, but he can't move really quickly on it, so he's here and there's carpet on the floor and he can go like stink. And all of a sudden, in his mind, he's like taking the gold medal home in the 100-yard dash.
He's gonna be so happy when you get home. He's gonna be like,
man,
so I don't want to be on this floor right now. Where's the carpet?
Yeah. Well, he really likes my yoga mat for that reason.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So on top of us doing our, you want to make sure he doesn't get underneath that.
Yeah. Nope, not for you.
So yeah, we'll be doing games, cosplay stuff, art, creativity, and then when we get into the actual debauchery type stuff, it is not going to be as bad as people make it out to be. It will be a little dicey, possibly, maybe.
What do people say about it? What's wrong with it?
I don't know. I mean, granted, we're going to have the Wheel of Chaos, and we're going to have the Wheel of Insanity, so you never know what's going to happen with those.
And we like to, keep it fresh for people who are watching, as well for ourselves. So it could get incredibly dicey. I might say some very colorful language if I fail at these video games, because I'm not really...
I'm so looking forward to it.
I'm not good at the video games.
Yeah, I am looking forward to you squealing. I mean, what?
Oh my god, anything over like DuckTales on the old NES system, I'm going to
Oh my
flail.
god, DuckTales? We have to do an old ROM day. That'll be one of our specials. So we're gonna have specials in, for certain holidays, Halloween, possibly something for spring break if we have the time for it. Christmas, fall.
Yeah. And I'll be an old lady going, do you remember that time in Nintendo Power Magazine? And everyone will be watching this and going, what the fuck was Nintendo Power Magazine?
As you can tell, I'm actually the youngest out of the two of us. So I actually grew up heavily playing stuff from the Atari to the Commodore 64. My parents actually had that into the NES, the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis. I never played the Sega Dreamcast. PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PS4, which is sitting back there. The Xbox I had some time with. Xbox 360, the Xbone, basically almost all of the consoles I have played over the years, but for her, because she spends more of her time as a performer, whereas I spend my time when I'm...
We're under attack. There's a helicopter.
God. Holy shit. I didn't realize that thing would be so loud. That's what she said. Oh, God. And then you're gonna get stuff like this.
It gets a little blue.
Jesus.
I'm looking forward to putting on the VR thing for Five Nights at Freddy's and trying not to crap my pants, because VR scares me.
You should have a diaper for that one.
Already, and then freaking Five Nights at Freddy's, like I don't know, HR Puff and Stuff Nightmare,
oh God.
Chuck E. Cheese, fuel is probably going to also make me crap my pants. So, I mean, stay tuned for that.
I mean,
Pants, crap, and fun.
You'll get some fun entertainment out of this. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We'll be doing cycles of like how we do stuff in terms of like, you know, the way we've done our rotation, the way we've written our rotation for the show. We've easily got enough going for at least 2 years. So hopefully you guys can, well, not tend, but will come and join us and experience more of her. Fun and insanity as I sit here and try not to die of laughter.
Try not to die. I don't want to do a seance so early
Yeah,
in the evening.
no, I don't want to have to be doing mouse to mouse and
get the hilarious defibrillators. We've had too much comedy. It's too funny.
Clear. Or, you know, CPR and just like singing the song. Oh my god.
I got the power.
No, not that one. Stay Alive.
Oh,
or
yeah.
the Bee Gees.
Oh,
that's because that's how you do the CPR.
So don't let me do CPR on anybody, I guess is what I'm saying.
That would probably be a bad idea.
Probably.
But on top of her being a performer, she has done fire dancing, fire acts in general, which we cannot do in here in this current location.
No.
But, if we do any sort of special, if we do an outside special that's not in this current studio, we'll probably film it and it will go directly up onto YouTube, in which case I am very, very sorry for all of you Twitch people. This is going to happen one of two ways, and I'm going to say this before I completely forget. This show will be filmed in-house by stream first, and then you can catch it on YouTube. Because I am not tied to Twitch or YouTube, I don't have a contract signed with either of them. This allows me to bounce between platforms, and it gives us a better chance of giving the audience a wider range of places to go and watch. For those that watch it live, you'll get to see all of our mistakes. We're not going to edit anything.
Sorry.
We may try to do in-house editing via, you know, the programs that I'll be using.
But that's totally dependent on Lieutenant Hedgie's temperament and patience factor.
And whether or not I'm going to be sloshed. Because, and this is going to be a notice right now, this is COPPA compliant, meaning this is not meant for children by any stretch of the imagination.
Children, if you're watching this, stop now. Stop now.
Turn off the window. Go watch somebody play Fortnite. Go watch DuckTales. Go watch something. This is definitely not for any of you guys. And because this is going on YouTube, I have to make this announcement to make sure that if anyone decides to report this, well, we can say that this is COPPA compliant.
Yeah. Caveat emptor.
Yeah. So I just wanted to make sure that that is very, very clear right now, because I don't want any children to come into this and be like, Mommy, Daddy, what are they doing?
And everybody have to get really creative with that answer.
Yeah, because currently right now, even though this is not something that, you know, should be publicly outed, we're both drinking.
Yeah, we are under the influence of awesome and alcohol, but mostly awesome.
Her more awesome than me. I'm just a very, very disgruntled ex-sailor.
But
with a mouth.
But one that can kick ass at video games, so you want to.
And not just video games. Sword work.
She kicks my ass at that a lot.
And again, depending on how we decide to do our episodes, if we do any bonus episodes outside of it coming to Twitch or being streamed live to Twitch, and it goes directly to YouTube, then you might luck out and you might actually get to see some of our sword choreography if we decide to do any of that.
There will not be alcohol involved in any of that because we are safety first.
Yes.
And this has no swords, ergo, no problem.
Oh my god. He is so active.
Yep.
Holy cow.
He is being a wiggle worm. This is why I don't have kids. One of these is enough.
You've got more than one.
There you go.
Come here, buddy. Come here.
He blends in. Look at that.
Oh my god. And you'll find that as kind of a a theme with it. In terms of our wear, I will be dressed a little bit more towards the military side of things, and she will be more towards the performer side of things, I think. At least
Yes.
that's what we agreed on.
Yeah, today is dance leotard day, and it's also in case Zilla pooped on me day. So I wanted to make sure that I was covered, and if it's something comes out, then I'm well prepared for it.
How old is he?
I think he is. Oh, he's getting ready to poop. I think.
Uh-oh.
Hang on, down he goes.
Well,
let's do
put
it
him
here. There we go. What you got, bud? What you got?
Well, if he does it on the tile, at least it's easier to clean up.
Yeah.
The cardboard, on the other hand, a little less so.
You want to do it here, or is it too
And with this being as live as it is, there are going to be things like this happening.
Everybody poops.
Yes, everyone poops. We all take a shit at some point in our lives.
No shame, Zilla. No shame.
So yeah, this is essentially our show. We're gonna try and make this the best that we can. If the show I shouldn't say it decides to take off. When the show does take off, we're going to, invest in better equipment. We're going to invest in possibly a better space if this really does like fly. We're gonna take our time and have a better and bigger kind of production budget, because right now we're just doing this kind of in my space and with what I have, because sometimes we have to make do with what we have. So in terms of games that will be happening, we're gonna focus predominantly on the horror side of things, but we'll also look into games that we've both played, games from history. We'll talk about movies, movie reviews, because we both work in the industry, so we have kind of an idea of how things work, so we can kind of give you a bit of an insider look into things. And if this really does take off, we'll have people that we have worked with before, either in your case circus performers for certain movies, or in the case of some of the shows that I've worked on, a military tech advisor who is a very, very good friend of mine. And if this really takes off and we can get some traction, we'd like to try and get our hands on some actors to come in and give a chat with us, tell us about kind of how they got into things,
and we'll see if I'm better or worse at video games than them, but I'm honestly not that optimistic.
You'd be surprised, but then again, I don't think Ryan Reynolds is any better.
Okay, I'll take that.
Because granted, when Jacksepticeye did his interview with Ryan Reynolds, it was actually Jack that was playing. I think Ryan actually tried to play for like 5 minutes, and then he just handed the controller to Jack.
Then it's like, we'll just be on the same team, but you can do the thing for me, which is usually my move. You know what? I'm not good at this game. Why don't you play for me, and I'll be giving you support.
The little pom-poms in the air.
That's... when they're like, let your little brother play, and you give him the bunk controller, just give me the bunk controller, let me think that we're winning together.
Exactly. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is essentially what the show is going to be about. We'll probably have a better idea, going into each episode that we do, an idea of exactly what we're doing. This is a trailer. This is kind of an idea to give you a preview of things that are to come, because we're just I've been trying to find someone to co-host the show with me, because I need someone to bounce things off of. And when I met Tristan, through Game of Thrones.
Yeah, we were doing Game of Thrones live at the Rio, and I got to train with all the Blood and Iron fighters, and got to hang out with Heather, and she was stage managing, and it was insane. And I was doing fire.
Oh, that's putting it mildly. You did Game of Thrones with us, what, for 2 years?
I did it for longer than that. I just did not.
Because I didn't do the first run.
I didn't do the first one as Daenerys, and then I had to sit out for one of them, and
well, that's when what's her name took over.
Yeah, Shauna was.
Shauna, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and so Shauna took it because I was filming, I think, Frankenstein Created Bikers at the time. So, I mean, Frankenstein Created Bikers is a pretty fine-ass movie by James Baker.
Frankenstein Created Bikers?
Yes.
Can you imagine if you had met Thomas at that point in time and he threw Thomas in? Thomas already is a Frankenstein biker. I mean, quite honestly, that man has got more metal body parts than I think he said something was like 20-25% metal that he was.
He needs to look up the song by Big John Bates, Crankenstein. I think he could relate.
I'll send him a message about that later. So yeah, this is essentially our show. We will be sitting here, or things in this room will have moved around to incorporate VR work, or we'll sit with controllers, and we'll, depending on what game it is.
And we will be more active, and there will be less Zillas being so darn active.
I don't cow. He's like a dog.
I think he forgot he has a meeting or something, because the way he's behaving is like, holy fuck, the audition was today? Oh no! This is a catastrophe! And he's like, oh shit, now I'm not gonna make my Uber, and yeah, so this is where he's
His side spikes are so soft.
They are. They're more for defense. Like,
are they? Do they harden?
No, they're to warn off bigger predators. To be like, I'm not going down without a fight. So he's related to the Australian and the Chinese water dragon.
Oh, okay.
But he's mostly desert dwelling. You do find them in Australia, out in the bush, and yeah, they make lovely little pets. And when I was in Perth visiting my mom, she was a volunteer at a reptile rehabilitation center. And among all the other animals that they had there, they had these little guys called bobtail lizards, and they're very similar in shape to bearded dragons. And I remember we saw one guy who was in the road, and he was just like, he was fine, but we wanted to move him so he wasn't going to. Just relax.
Holy cow! Come back here.
Where you gotta go, man?
Oh my god! Holy.
Seriously, where's this?
Are you settled?
Where's this energy at home?
Are you settled?
Where is this energy showing up to the party? It's like when you take your well-behaved kid to anybody else's house, and your kid is like an absolute dream, and then you're like, I'm gonna show my kid to my friend, and then they become an absolute asshole at your friend's house.
Or terror.
Or it's like the tantrum that came out of nowhere, and you're like, but why now? Why, like, after all this time, you've decided to turn into demon spawn, like, now? Is this a secret curse that happened on me when I was 16 and unbeknownst to me by some evil fairy? Probably.
He seems like he's calmed down now. Slightly. That's probably because I have my hand on his back.
Are you used to Mama ranting? Is that normal to you? It is actually pretty normal to him. He has to put up with my shit a lot. He's a really good sport, but he's also an excellent listener.
That's good.
Yeah.
Oh, the other thing I should mention too is that gaming episodes will probably be about 2 hours, just due to the length, and sometimes games are just one of those things where you kind of have to have like a little extra time to. You know.
I'm gonna fuck up a lot, so I mean, just as a preemptive thing, it will take at least 2 hours. So just bear with us, or I don't know, maybe get yourself a drink and just laugh at my incompetence. But laugh if you will, because I'm going to work on all of the reflex skills that's ultimately going to make me a better sword fighter, so that when she fights me in real life, I get bopped less with the sword.
Yes, because during our trainings that we do Sunday, there are times where we do get to spar. So we get to spar with swords, single hand or two hand, or even knives. And
she's good with the knives, folks.
I am very, very scary with a knife. I'm actually a lot better with my knife work than I am with my sword work.
Swords are heavy.
It's not bad. Thomas is like, you're better with that platform than you're better with the knife platform than you are with any other platform that you fought with.
Better with fire fans than I am with a fire hoop. You don't get to choose what you're good at in this life.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Much respect to the fire hula hoopers.
Yeah, those are terrifying.
Those scare me.
I can see why.
Well, usually, like, if I'm doing fire performing, the last few times, for some reason, I've been wearing a wig, which you probably shouldn't do because that's a fire hazard.
Yes, I was actually scared for you when you did Game of Thrones. I was just like,
I had a long, fluffy Daenerys wig, and I can promise you that I had a fire safety right behind the throne, and I also did not have that wig pinned to my head, so that if it had to come off, it came off like that, because there was no way I was wearing that much acrylic hair on my head if it caught fire.
Yeah.
I kept all my fire well in front of me because I didn't need tragedy to befall me. I remember once, and this is years ago, I went to a strip club in Surrey, and they had an amateur night, and they were doing this thing where they had like a girl on stage, and she was doing this thing with like candles, and she was balancing tea lights on her boobs, which are really big. But like her hair just kind of went through one of the candles, and like
did it catch?
It just went, like, she must have had imagine it was pretty dry if it had been, must have been treated in some way.
Yeah.
Because extensions wouldn't have gone up that fast, but it just went like shh, and she like had to tap it out, and everyone looking at her could see the thing happening, which was tragic, and everyone was like, oh, but like there was a bouncer standing with his back to her, so it was like, oh shit, like he's not aware of it, and all he sees is everyone going to rush the stage all of a sudden, but he doesn't know why.
Oh fuck.
But happy ending, she was okay, so I mean, I can kind of giggle because it was an unsafe thing that didn't have a huge tragedy at the end of it, but it's also kind of a reminder that fire is not a toy, it's why we have insurance and training.
Oh, did I ever tell you the story of what happened on one of the CW shows?
No.
So, I am not going to name the CW show for legal reasons.
Cool. But I have a vivid imagination.
I will tell you what show it is after we hang up this. Besides the games being 2 hours, some episodes for the most part will be an hour long. If we're doing a movie review, especially if we're doing like a live movie review, it'll probably be the length of the movie, and then we may or not stop the movie and just kind of go on there.
And who knows how long it might go if we're doing art stuff, because if we find a groove and we're just like,
then the
in an art groove, like this could take a minute. Like put on a pot of coffee. We're here for a minute. Yeah. I remember in art school when we would like be like, oh, we have this like thing due, and then all of a sudden inspiration would take it about 10:45 at night, and you're like, I'm gonna totally add this thing onto that project.
Do a full night, yeah.
And then like you'd be like kind of going to bed just as your parents are waking up to take you to school, and you're like, and literally looked like 10 pounds of crap in an 8-pound bag getting to school, and like. But the saddest thing was sometimes you were just working on something for so long, and this was my case, that like you had a great idea and like you had all the best intentions with the start of the execution at 10:45, and by like 3:45 things were looking a little bit hairy and sketchy, and then you see it in the morning and it's like the worst scenario where it looks nothing like what you visualized, and you're like, no, why did I deviate from the plan? I should have walked away when I should have walked away. So you might see some of that high art drama.
Yeah.
Or high drama art.
But yes, back to my story about the fire thing. So on set, apparently the initial special effects coordinator for that day, he was sick, so they brought in a replacement. So what ended up happening was that, you know, the fire barrels that that the special effects usually set up. So they set up all this stuff, but they were using a fuel source that they weren't supposed to use, like a specific type of fuel source.
Ooh, and I can probably picture which one that was. That's scary.
I ended up texting Thomas like right after I found out about the news, because there was a bunch of people that got hurt. Like one of I think it was the replacement special effects supervisor that was there that day. Apparently the first AD or the director was just having a shit fit, and they were trying to move on the scene, and they were not ready. But the director or first AD wanted to roll and just go, and so they were running around. But apparently, when they rose the fire up in the barrels and a couple of the other locations, this was in a closed set.
Ooh.
So what happened is that when they threw the fire barrels up and stuff, apparently he had a container of what he was using, and he went down, it caught, and he went up. And all a bunch of people that I remember hearing, like a couple of my friends, all he said to me and he remembered was seeing this ball of fire. This fucking ball of fire, and then all of a sudden just spreading along the ground.
They are lucky that is the worst thing that's happened, but that's pretty fucking bad.
Well, apparently the replacement effects coordinator got hit pretty good. He got some pretty good burns. One of the famous BG guys who's known for his beards and his homeless look, he got hit. He apparently his hair was on fire and a whole bunch of stuff as he was getting people out. Oh yeah, there was a huge evacuation. They tried to shut that shit up pretty fucking quick.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that is terrifying.
So you'll also hear stories about this as well. Apparently we are buffering right now, but that's okay.
That's all right.
We're going to continue this. We are at our 30-minute mark, so I think
Cool.
we should probably
We can
end
sign
this
off,
here.
I guess. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, thank you for checking out our teaser trailer for our upcoming podcast live stream.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll sign off from Madame Medusa and Little Zilla the Dragon.
And from Lieutenant Hedgie, aka Lieutenant Dessler. We will see you guys Saturday, February 15th.
Yep, so we will probably be eating discount Valentine's Day chocolate, which is the sweetest because we did not pay full price. Ha ha ha! Mustache twirl, mustache twirl.
Oh, you didn't. I've got no fucking money. Are you kidding me?
Well, then I will supply us with the sweets.
Oh, good. Then I will supply us with food.
Cool.
But yeah, other than that, hopefully you guys enjoy this. And granted, some of this was a little bit of a ramble, but kind of, again, teaser, trailer. This is kind of an idea of what is going on. So the next time you see us, we'll be a little bit more coherent.
I make no promises.
That's very true. We make no promises. We try to make it the best that we can. But Saturday's episode, our opening episode, will be a game. It will be Alien Isolation, where I will be playing.
My butthole will be puckering, probably.
The asshole pucker, just real. But that will be our first episode, so we'll probably talk about the Alien movies. We'll talk about some horror events that we've been to, because you've been to conventions and that kind of stuff.
With stories about my xenomorph burlesque numbers over the years.
I am looking forward to hearing that. Are you kidding me? That would be amazing.
Yeah.
I am actually really, really interested to know what that is going to be. So...
Yeah, I got surprises, we got tricks, and we'll have treats.
Awesome. All right, so thank you guys for coming out, and I guess that we will see you.
Flying dragon.
We'll see you guys Saturday. All right, you guys take care.